Hi, this is Terry Kavanaugh, and you're listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast.
Yes, Loonies, welcome back to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. You are listening to episode 169, and my golly, it's fun. We're doing another comic book review. You've had a classic run review. We've had a reaction episode of the new comic, which was Avengers, and today, this morning, we're going to be looking at a modern run review, so kind of like a recent issue, so from 2000 onwards. I think I've considered that modern, and we'll be looking at Moon Knight Volume 6, Issue 8. It's kind of a continuation of First Story by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev, and joining me this morning, is the power of Chad. Chad, welcome.
Hello.
Yes, Chad has graciously accepted to come back, and this should be always interesting, Chad. I can't remember. Have we done... I don't think we've done a Brian Michael Bendis one together, have we? We've done modern ones. Oh, we have. We have done that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Cool. Because I know we've done the Darken one. I think we mainly do, I think, modern ones. I'm not sure if apart from... Oh, that is going way back, I think. You have done the classic one. You've done the Hulk magazine one, so that's as classic as it can get, right? So, okay, so you've done it. Yeah. You've done it all. But anyway, Chad, I don't know. Are you excited about coming back to revisit more Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev?
I really appreciate the art, so yes.
Excellent.
That's what I'm going to say.
Well, we'll get stuck into it, loonies, don't you worry. So Chad and I, after we kind of wet our whistle, for those looking at the video, will know that Chad and I, we are partial to an odd tipple. So I'm just going to say that. I have a nice brew here. Chad has a cider, so we're raring to go. Hopefully, we'll be smooth sailing when we come up to the review. But before that, of course, to kick off, a huge thank you to all the Patronies. Thank you so much for contributing and wanting to help support the show in a different way other than just listening. Absolutely love people tuning in and listening to us, but a big thank you to the likes of Dustin, Justin, Derek, Wayne, Jordan, Josh, James, Russell, and Anthony. Thank you guys. All differing tiers. Some of them executive producers, others co-producers, so they're credited on the episodes. But a big thank you, guys. Also, a thanks to a couple of sponsors: Hello Headphones, empowering gamers to play at their best, and of course, Dreamland Comics from Illinois, the superhero superstore. Now, Chad, speaking of which, I mean, we had a little bit of a chat, I guess, beforehand. I've seen some of your feedback from the reaction episode that we did on Avengers 37. I mean, you gave your comments to that issue, but while I have you here, I might as well ask, what was your impression out of the whole arc of Age of Khonshu? What was happy with it? Some takeaways? Some alarm bells. What did you reckon?
I kind of got the feeling like the entire thing was sort of a smokescreen. Like, there was lots of fireworks. It was pretty flashy. There could have been a lot more development, and it's just there wasn't really a lot of substance. There's a lot of action, but as we can tell now, by the end of this short run, nothing has changed except for, the fanfare.
I mean, well, true. I mean, I agree with pretty much all that you say as well. But as for what has changed or impacted, I don't know, could you argue potentially then that there's some sort of fracturing between Marc and Khonshu? I mean, they left, the last they saw of each other, Marc smacked him all the way to New Thebes. So, yeah, I wonder if anything, I wonder if that will be picked up in hopefully the future solo series run. But that's all I can really think of. I mean, the Phoenix Force came and went. Yeah, but I mean, anything else that... I don't know, anything else did you like? Anything else that you liked about it?
I really liked having Jess Walters. Jennifer, that's yes. The one, yeah. I really liked her, and Blade picking up the Onks and being yes. temporary users. I'd like to see a lot more of that.
Mm-hmm. Because, Certainly. I mean, we only got one page of it, literally. So I'd love to see. That was, I think, one of the things for me for that last issue. There was a lot of missed opportunities of, like, there were huge fights built up, but they were all off screen. Like Phoenix Force Marc versus Thor, and She-Hulk, the Iron Hulk, and Blade, the Sorcerer Supreme. We got the introduction to it, but everything happened off panel, which was, I don't know, it kind of was part of the part of the elements that were detrimental to the arc. I mean, as you said, there was a lot of action and there were a lot of cool, nifty ideas. But okay. So not too big fan. 5 out of 10. Let's hoping, Chad, that today, this morning, Brian Michael Bendis does better for you. But we'll get into that, loonies. Also, as well, I want to mention. On our Facebook group, if you're not a member, please join. I know it's a private group, but just click onto it. If you answer all the questions, then you're guaranteed to get in. It's all set up automatically. Once you answer all the questions, that you will actually be accepted in. If you don't, then it's left to the whim of to the whim of the likes of the admins such as Chad and myself, and we don't often, I don't know about you, Chad, we don't often check them, so you could be left lingering there, in which case then it will just kind of be probably deleted.
Well, whenever I check it, if someone hasn't filled it out all the way, I just go ahead and leave it there in limbo, because well, that's it. It leaves it open on their side to go ahead and fill it out.
That's true. That's true. So if you do, learners, if you do want to join the group, just as mentioned, it's fantastic. We love it. We've almost got 1,400 members. I can't believe it. It's really cool. So please, if you do consider joining, what I did post up was a kind of like a prize giveaway. Guess the date. So if you haven't seen it yet, just check it out and drop in your thoughts. The winner will get an official oversized ITK sticker, which I'll send to you. But the idea was, I don't know, Chad, there was a lot of fan casting for this Moon Knight series, and then there was a lot of talk about when it was going to be announced. I thought it would just be interesting to have a little flutter as to when it will actually be announced. So I can't remember when. What was your date? Did you have a date?
The 24th.
24th, okay, of October. Yep. I've got the 21st, so both Chad and I reckon it's pretty soon. So by the time this episode drops, we're talking about either my bet has come and gone. So if this will drop on the 22nd, so I've either got it right or wrong, and Chad will either still be in the running. And hopefully we'll get some sort of announcement. But please do drop in your thoughts. We've got a lot of people are doing Halloween, October 31st. As it happens to be, you pointed out a full moon as well, so that would be apt. I'm a bit dubious whether Disney Plus will go that far as to be that, but that would be fun. I would love for them to do that. So let us know your thoughts. Even if you can give us a time, that would be cool, because a lot of people have the same date as well. But it's all for a bit of fun. Anyway, Chad as well. I guess. It's been a while, the last week or so. Any recommends for reads or listens, podcasts, music?
Well, I recently found out that one of my favorite creative teams is going to be writing Midnighter and the new Wonder Woman series.
So is there a series with Midnighter and Wonder Woman? Like it's them teaming up? No.
Oh. It's crap! Something flew in my eye. Oh, that's fun.
Khonshu.
Why would you betray me. Anyway, it's Michael Conrad on art, I think, and Becky Cloonan is writing, or vice versa.
Oh,
they're both accomplished. So
that is your super team, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the Mystery School comics group. That's what they have. That's their indie thing.
Nice.
But yeah, they're going to be doing the Immortal Wonder Woman series, and then Midnighter on the side.
Okay, so, nice.
Yeah, excited.
When's that coming out? Do you know? Was it announced?
That was just announced, I think, the day before yesterday.
Okay.
And I'm not sure when it's going to be actually hitting the shelves or anything.
That sounds interesting. I mean, I'm pretty keen to learn more about Wonder Woman. Midnighter, I've heard pretty good things about. Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, so I'd be pretty keen to pick that up. So, Loonies, that's a nice recommendation. Yeah. Any podcasts or perhaps TV shows or movies?
Podcasts. Yeah. Podcasts? Who podcasts nowadays?
Or about a billion people now.
Let's see. The guys over at Tomb of Ideas, I listen to them pretty frequently.
They're pretty cool. I listen to them as well. They're good.
Let's see. There's always Forever Midnight, the horror podcast.
Ooh.
That's all I can think of right now.
Mm-hmm.
There's always Friday the 13th. It's a very queer-centric horror podcast.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Those are pretty much the ones that I mainline pretty frequently.
And actually, you just reminded me with that kind of theme for horror. I know we've probably conversed online about it, but and I've seen the photos. You did finally. You got the tat happening. It's looking pretty damn good as well.
Yeah, I got my tattoo.
Yeah, it looks really cool. I don't know, Loonies, if you posted it on. Did you post it on in our group or just on your profile page?
Just on my profile.
Yeah, your profile. Yeah. Well, it's a very cool. I love the colors to it, and I love the content. How long did it take for you to have to keep the bandage on? Did you have to keep that on for a while?
Well, honestly, I didn't put a bandage on at all. I just washed it frequently and made sure it was clean.
Because
let it air out.
Yeah, because I remembered you talking about you've lined it up, you're going to get it, and then it didn't seem like that long at all where you took the photo, and I looked at it going, oh cool, I remember we were talking about that, but I was thinking, geez, that was quick. Because, a lot of people, I don't know, they wrap it in bandages and cling wrap or, they kind of protect it and stuff, and you don't get to see it.
Tegaderm.
Yeah, right. And they don't get to, I don't know, it's like healing or something, but how was it? Was it painful?
And how
long?
It was let's see, it was about 7 hours, and it just kind of felt like lightly pulling a scab.
Wow, excellent. So there you go, Loonies. It's a nice image for you. Just lightly pull a scab. That's all it takes to
the
to
worst
get the
of the
Yeah, cool. Oh, well, that sounds great. Sounds good. But it looks really cool. Horror filled because it had something. It was one of the creatures from Lovecraft, right? Or was it a combination?
It's kind of a combination.
Yeah.
The artist called it the Sigil of Cthulhu, but that's not what Cthulhu has going for his sigil. I think it was beautiful either way.
Yeah. Oh, cool. No, it's great. I love it. It's good. Nice tattoo. Anyway, Loonies, anyone thinking about it, I know a lot of Loonies do have some tattoos. Showing them off, please do. Just share them around. Some people have Moonlight tattoos as well, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty dedicated, if you ask me. I'm going to have to come up with another category to classify those Loonies. But anyway, cool. Anyway, for the white noise, Chad, news-wise, look, there isn't anything. I didn't trawl the garbage that is the internet, the garbage heap. don't know if anyone's heard my previous white noise, my previous news. It was really kind of scraping the bottom, except for the preview on issue 37. Previews are always good. Nothing here, Chad, unless you've picked up anything. I don't know. No?
No, not really.
Okay, excellent. Well, there you go, Lenny's. It all bodes well for, I'm saying October 21, when we do get our casting announcement. Chad reckons 24th. Let's just hope it's soon. I think that's what we're all saying. But anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway, all right. Well, how about we just go to a quick break, Chad? I might have to refill my mug, my jug, my stein, my bottle. How are you going with yours? Oh, it looks like you've got quite a bit.
Yeah,
it's keeping.
I'm only a little in.
Okay, cool. Maybe I'm just too keen. Anyway, Loonies, we're just going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, Chad and I will head off into our... I haven't even updated this prompt sheet, Chad. We're going to our LUNAR-PICK Modern Run review, which will be Moon Knight Volume 6, Issue 8. So, stay tuned.
Need a podcast talking about weird stuff? Well, then we've got just the thing for you. Into the Weird, a podcast chronicling the madness and magnificence of the mighty Marvel Bronze Age of comics, featuring the voice talents of Mr. Billy Delicious.
Hola.
Mr. Herman Hellstrom Lowe.
Hey there.
And straight from the long box of darkness, His Infernal Majesty Dormammu.
How you doing?
And many more. But wait a minute. You might be thinking, aren't all comics infused with a grain of weirdness? I mean, Reed Richards can stretch every single part of his body, right? And why did Ultron design the Vision with working genitalia? Well, you would be correct, but Into the Weird isn't just any regular comic book show, folks. We focus on the really bizarre. Here are a few examples.
A sword and sorcery barbarian grown spontaneously from a jar of peanut butter.
A duck running for president of the United States.
Benjamin Franklin playing hide the sausage with Doctor Strange's girlfriend Clea.
A giant-sized man-thing lamenting the death of a clown.
A serial killer obsessed with killing only fools, dressed as cavalier with laser guns after witnessing a priest fornicating.
And so much more. So if you like the wonderful weirdness of the Bronze Age from 1970 to 1985, and characters such as Ghost Rider, Morbius, The Defenders, Man-Thing, Son of Satan, Skull the Slayer, Killraven, Howard the Duck, and the weird granddaddy of them all, Dr. Stephen Strange, then this is the show for you.
ITWs on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, and TuneIn. Hit subscribe and join us for a comic-filled jaunt into the weird.
Yes, welcome back, loony listeners. You are listening to Into the Night, the Moon Knight podcast. This is episode 169, and the power of Chad and I are back. And we are going to, as mentioned at the top of the show, we're going to review Brian Michael Bendis' and Alex Maleev's and Matt Hollingsworth's Moon Knight Volume 6, Issue 8. It's a continuation of the first story, and this was published in February 2012. Still available on floppy. I don't think it's particularly pricey. I think you can just get it for a standard price, if not less than regular price. Also available on digital. It's on Marvel Unlimited as well, so it'll be on Comixology, Kindle, stuff like that as well. And it is available on... There was a recent trade. I'm not sure if it's out of stock or out of print, but it was a hardcover of the entire 12-issue Bendis run. So that came out not too long ago. I'd like to say, I don't know, maybe a year and a half ago or something. But previously it was released as two separate hardcovers. I'll be reading it off Volume 2 of the hardcovers. I've taken off the slipcase, so anyone watching the video, you can just see it's just a white one. And I think that's it. I think they may have done trade paperbacks, Chad, but that's long since gone. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
Quarter bins.
quarter bins are your best bet. Writer Brian Michael Bendis, as mentioned. Penciler Alex Maleev, and inker, I believe. Colourist Matt Hollingsworth, letterer Cory Petit, and editor Stephen Wacker. Now, loonies, for those that haven't or unaware of what we do on these things called LUNAR-PICKs, is what will happen is Chad will be so kind as to read out a bare bones, which is a synopsis, basically a summary of the story, in case you haven't read the comic but you want to know what it's about before we dive into it. And then Chad and I will just kind of go into just aspects which range from writing, art, themes, characterizations, and references to other runs, and we'll cap it off with a moon rating. So we've got 2 rating systems, a vanilla rating with the phases of the moon out of 10, or the patented Khonshu's rating system. You'll understand, if we do use it, what it's about. I don't know. I don't even know Khonshu if he knew what it was about. Anyway, Chad, before we start, what system will you choose to mark your comic?
Oh, well, Khonshu's been out of the game for a while, so I'll go with him. Keep him alive in spirit.
Keep him alive. Khonshu's he's like Khonshu in a way. He's like the little guy on my shoulder sometimes, and on yours, I'm sure. Just whispering in your ear, telling you about a telephone moon or a crumb of a moon. Or a
big fuck off moon.
Everyone wants to mark it out of 10 because of Khonshu's rating system, don't we all? Anyway, okay. Well, I will leave it to Chad if you can be so kind. This is courtesy of Wiki, but here's the bare bones for Volume 6, Issue 8.
At the precinct's garage, Marc leaves Snapdragon tied to a detective's car. Alerted, the detective fires at Moon Knight, but he takes out Cap's plasma shield to stop the bullets. They're on the same side. Marc is able to settle the officer down and shares information on Count Nefaria to him. As a token of trust, he gives Maya's record battle footage to him. The detective reluctantly agrees on their allegiance. The next morning, Marc is watching a ridiculous cut from his show, but he steps away for a meeting with his voices. They pressure him to strike as soon as possible. Back at the house, Marc is working with Buck to upgrade his gear. In the process, he upgrades Echo's staff with vibranium metal. Meanwhile, at the police station, Detective Hall brings the footage to Captain. He disregards it by turning it to a federal case. He is on Nefaria's payroll. Hall decides to visit Snapdragon and tell her that no mob lawyer, super criminal, or ninjas have arrived to extract her, which leaves Hall to believe that she might be burned, which is a term saying that you're no longer good in certain circles. Not everyone would get that. It might be beneficial for her to talk. Across town, Moon Knight and Echo spend the night by taking down Nefaria's operations in order to draw him out, which worked as he floats behind them.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chad. That was the bare bones, courtesy of Wiki, a snapshot of the whole issue 8, to give you an idea of anything that Chad and I will potentially reference during our discussion. So, I guess I always forget to mention this at the top as well. Chad, I think overall, your impressions of this issue before we get into the aspects. What did you make of issue 8?
I actually really liked it. It stayed away from the, pratfalls for this run. It stayed away from Marc playing at being Logan, trying at being, Spider-Man. He was just himself all the way through. So I like that. And then I like that it uses tech. It plays with his toys, and that's a lot of what, Moon Knight is about.
Yeah, actually, and that's something that's probably not explored enough. I mean, we saw it. I did a little quick reread of the previous issues and stuff, and he certainly does. I mean, for those that do remember issue 7, he actually booby traps that fake Ultron head to have that pollen in it. I think he works on this secret chemical pollen or something that when Nefaria crushed it, it actually negated his powers. And that's what they reference, what Echo references at the end of this issue when she says, well, you kind of nullified his powers last time, you can do it again. And at the end, Marc goes, yeah, I don't think you'll fall for it a second time, as we see Nefaria loom behind them. But yeah, I think the use of tech is pretty, by Bendis is pretty good, because he's also got Buck there to help him with he's almost like, what is it, like Q or something from James, is that right?
Yeah.
James Bond? He fits out Echo's staff, as you mentioned in the synopsis, with vibranium, just a sliver to give it a little bit of pep, and she kind of whacks something just to test it, and it just explodes. So I'm assuming, again, being totally geeky, this is tied to how vibranium can absorb energy, similar as you see with the Black Panther suit, and when she hits it, it kind of releases it, which is pretty cool. One thing though, Chad, again, because I did a little bit of geeky research, because I was looking on the backstory of Nefaria, a missed opportunity here, and a little detail which they could have used, is apparently Nefaria is vulnerable to adamantium. So he actually, for some reason, in the new Avengers, I think, he actually gets cut by Wolverine, and that actually weakens him more than just being cut. So he gets weakened by adamantium. So it would have been cool, I thought, if Bendis incorporated that into Echo's weaponry or Marc's, tech, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of scenarios where Marc is using adamantium already.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Let me just slip into something more lethal.
Yeah, exactly. Just get his 90s suit out. He's got them all under those glass cones, right, in his moon cave or something, just, on display. But anyway, that's, obviously a big geeky kind of thought there. I just thought I'd get it out there because I did read that on Nefaria's wiki page. Anyway, yeah, I thought it was actually similar to you. I was pleasantly surprised with this. In the fact that the shortcomings I found previously with Bendis' issues, like from issues 1 to 7, some of them seem to really hold not much substance, because it really did seem to be a small part of a bigger whole. This is still part of a bigger whole, but there's a lot here to lock into, which I find interesting. So we get here, I mean, I know it's been tread before in some of the previous issues, but I guess the dialogue is a lot stronger here, so it kind of kept me engaged. So in writing, I've just got notes here. I'm just going to quickly, in bullet point form, I'll just go through it. So as you mentioned in the synopsis, Moon Knight gives Detective Hall, or Officer Hall, that USB key. That confrontation was pretty cool. I thought it was very cinematic, him just crouched on top of a car with Snapdragon unconscious, a little short exchange. I loved, and I'm going to bleed into the art here, Chad. Oh, hang on. For the video people there, I'm going to start to share something here. So, and this just speaks to those with can you see that? Is that on?
Yep.
Okay, so let me, will it work? There we go. Yeah, so there's a nice little exchange here. Hall actually he's really scared. He's stuttering as well. And actually, first off, he shoots at Moon Knight. And thankfully, he's got that kind of, I don't know what, energy shield of Captain America's. So there's a little bit happening here. There's a little bit of action. There's a nice little interplay between them both. Then there's this piece of evidence, which is really highlighted by, I think, that really bright red USB stick, Chad. So against the stark black and white, I mean, most of this is kind of hued in black, blue, and white. So I guess testament to the Colourist, Hollingsworth, but also to, of course, Maleev. And finally, with that, I just love, again, the way Moon Knight is portrayed here, Chad. He flutters away, like when he jumps off the ledge. It's almost as if he's like a is like a piece of paper or a napkin kind of floating. Yeah. But it's so cool because it's a typical trope of superheroes to jump off the ledge, right? And, you know, whether you're Batman or Daredevil, there's some way that you can kind of leap off and help yourself. With Moon Knight, it's a level of, oh, hang on, what can he do? But he's got a glider cape, so we know that he can do this sort of stuff. So anyway, so there's that interaction with Hall. There's, as you mentioned, the voices that he has. He has this kind of running dialogue with the voices about taking Nefaria or not. There's this growing, even more development of Echo's relationship with Marc. There's again a revisit to Captain Williams being corrupt, and Officer or Detective Hall being the kind of upright guy, and Moon Knight calls it out at the beginning. And then there's a small interrogation scene with Detective Hall. So there's a lot of things happening in this issue, and I guess that's what I really liked about it. There was a lot more substance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of the other problems I had with the rest of the run is it's just a lot of like flash down the street, and there's nothing ever really resolved. It's just one, pugilist fight to the next.
Yeah. Which, I guess is a particular type of comic, and you can enjoy that, especially if the action scenes are done well. But what we've seen so far with this Moon Knight comic as well, the fight scenes are very, minimal and grounded, and there's nothing too extravagant with them. Although I think later on we'll see Count Nefaria do a lot more. He's at least got powers, so he can do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Chad. So let's really get into it. Although I've kind of really started with the writing, getting back into the writing there. Yeah. Any other points? Any points you want to kick off about the writing itself? Or the art?
I really like the storytelling. Like through the panels, is very cinematic. Like with Nefaria just hovering there behind them while they're talking about taking him out. It's like, okay, that's pretty hilarious.
Yep. Yes, there he is.
Let's see.
It's pretty cool because on the rooftop there's a smoke happening, and there's a big, what do you call it, a big billboard sign or something, or like a electric lights behind it. It looks very kind of like Dracula. He's just a corny character anyway.
Definitely.
I mean, cinematic as well. I'm going to throw this one up onto the screen. You've got their Echo. How's that sequence? So there's a 5-panel sequence that goes through, and she's just like flicking a match, and it kind of slowly goes. You can see it kind of heading towards you, and she's just burning money. That was pretty cool as well. But a couple of nice establishing shots, like there's that reveal there, Chad, of or not reveal, a splash of Echo and Moon Knight just about to head off into their battle to flush out Nefaria.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really liked the what we were talking about earlier on the car. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Trying to find the page. He's crouched on the car and he says, "Put the gun away, detective. We're on basically the same side."
Yeah.
And the cape is just really out there.
It is.
Like Spawn level.
It is. It's Spawn level, a cloak of levitation. It's got a life of its own. Again, it reminds me a lot of the Benson run with Opena. Is that Opena? I can't remember.
Sounds like.
Yeah, with the cape is almost like cloud-like. But yeah. And even down there, the bottom panel, you can see the cape kind of going over half the length of the panel as it kind of frames. Yeah.
Unreal.
in both senses, I think. But that was what I was mentioning about the art as well. That red USB was pretty cool. At first I thought it was a vial of blood or something, but it's definitely the USB that Maya, she takes the footage of. If you'll again remember issue 7, there was a like an entrapment almost ruse that they put. So Buck arrives with the Ultron head to drop off to Nefaria, and Maya's taking video of it, and that's what they're looking at in the police station with Captain Williams. I mean, also, I will, as much as we love to talk about Maleev as well, Chad, I touched upon it, I'd love to just give props to Hollingsworth, his colours. They're very understated. Like I mentioned before, he uses vibrant colours sparingly to kind of make it stand out. But he's got this beautiful, it works so well with the Maleev art. It's got just beautiful, as I mentioned, blue, white, and kind of grey and black tones. That's all he needs for Moon Knight. But I wanted to draw attention to, if I'm just moving forward here, you can see the color, the different color change. So when we get that one page of Detective Hall interrogating Snapdragon, it's given this kind of red light kind of look to it. And practicality, like it doesn't really make sense unless there are neon signs outside the interrogation room. But I don't know, I just like it anyway. It kind of gives a very different shift of tone.
Yeah. Let's see. Also, while... let's see where it is. The whole scene with them taking out, or checking out from the rooftop, yep, underneath that sign. They're checking out, who is that down there? What was that?
Oh, no, just in the green. Like, it's almost as if I think Moon Knight's using night vision or something. Or X-ray, it looks like.
All of the shading in those series of panels looks really amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you can really tell where the light's hitting behind them, because everything forward is... It's not like they're just kind of throwing shading out there just like willy-nilly, like, say, certain Spider-Man cartoons in modern era.
Hey, we've still got one more episode to review here. Come on. one more Spidey. Yeah, no, true. I mean, the shading, and that's testament to Maleev as well. I mean, I like even the page before of that interchange with Detective Hall and Captain Williams, just on their faces, it kind of gives a bit more of a literally and a figurative, a shadier look to Captain Williams, too. Yeah. Also, I mean, generally, this is the thing as well. I thought maybe some of these I thought some of these scenes were a little short, though. That's all. Like, I'm going back to that interrogation with Snapdragon. I would have actually loved to see that go on a little bit more, maybe at least 2 pages. Although Bendis does pack it with dialogue, but she kind of folds really easily. You know what I mean? Detective Hall just says, he basically says that you're burned, as you mentioned in the synopsis, Chad. And she kind of believes it straight away. Yeah. But, that's a small quibble. I mean, there are some scenes which have enough kind of space to breathe, like that opening scene on the car with Moon Knight and Detective Hall. But yeah, I don't know. There were other ones which I found interesting, and I would have liked to have seen a bit more. Like, there was actually also there are other scenes as well which I thought went a bit too long than it should have. So, for instance, this one that I've got up on screen now for people looking at the video, it's that establishing one of Echo. She wakes up from her slumber in the Marc Spector hideout, and she kind of comes up and she sees Marc and Buck working on stuff, and it's all to do with Buck working, fixing weapons and giving her staff back. There's not really much payoff, though, for that, unless it's leading to something later on. But for me, I thought, like, that could have been done a lot less as well. Although there was a little bit of exposition, like Marc was talking about, I guess it established that she did get this intel when she went undercover for Nefaria in the strip clubs. But the intel that she actually gives Marc is actually the footage of that roost that they did again, as I mentioned in issue 7. So maybe a little bit of unnecessary information here, but yeah. So a lot of things could be cut and some could be expanded. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Similarly, the entire messing up of Nefaria's little gang scene.
Yes, absolutely. That's 2 pages.
They could have...
Yep.
It feels like wasted time. Like, how much of that was flicking a match to burn money? It's like...
Yeah.
It's kind of like a non-issue. This isn't about the money.
No, exactly. That confused me a little. It's like, was there a purpose to do that other than to just, I guess it's there to piss off Nefaria, like, getting rid of his stuff. But it felt a bit weird for me. Another panel, you can see that it's just entirely black, for effective, like, suspense or something. But then these are silent panels for 2 pages for the action scene. And of course, there's not much really maybe to say while you're fighting, but it does leave the action a little flat. I mean, there aren't even any, what do you call it? The wham, bam, the onomatopoeic.
Onomatopoeia.
Yeah. Is there a term for those particular comic book onomatopoeic lettering? No, just the pows, the bams and the pows. They're all missing. So I found the fight scene a little lackluster as well. Similar to what I mentioned about the Aaron run in issue 37. Fight scenes where... That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, is it me just being a bit of an old man and complaining a bit? But we're losing out a bit on really cool action scenes. I mean, if you look at the old 80s, 90s, 70s comics, that have a lot of fun with a lot of action. Maybe the modern day comic book readers are a little bit more discerning and actions, but I don't know. I'm just a little kid at heart. I'd love a bit of action.
Well, I mean, we've seen, like, really sparing, like, quality Moon Knight fights before. Hell, like, when he was going up temporarily against Grey Hulk.
Yeah.
It was... He was using his toys. It was, like, quick, to the point, and, I don't know, it just made sense the way he was fighting. Yeah.
But then again, you get the other modern runs, like, I'm thinking of Max Bemis and Jason Burrows. You get that awesome... Remember the one on the ship?
Oh, man.
Yeah, like, and then some, you know what I mean? And it wasn't... I don't think it was using up paper space and taking up a lot of space in the comic. I thought it was really good. Like, I think it was well warranted. So yeah, I don't know. We all know that Bendis is a bit more of a dialogue-driven kind of writer.
What? No way.
So yeah. Anyway, So some shortcomings there. I think Chad and I we've illustrated that with some sequences or some scenes. They could be shortened. Others could be lengthened a bit more. Anything else, Chad, by way of... Well, let's talk about... I mean, I was trying to think of the themes, the underlying, I guess, the tones of this issue. This issue it was kind of like a setup again. It's really weird because this is a continuation of issues 1 to 7. It's still under the subtitle First Story, but there was a particular ending with issue 7 where Nefaria flies away because he's defeated by Moon Knight. But this is still continuing on. But I don't know. What I got for themes here was maybe potentially more of the showing the corruption within the police force with Captain Williams, but also maybe framing Detective Hall as a little bit more upstanding and upright. We only got like a couple of panels before, but I think this focused on him a bit more. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because the main thrust of this as well is Moon Knight and Echo going after Nefaria. Him kind of in conflict with himself as whether he should or not. I found that whole idea a little bit weak as well, in the fact that, of course he's going to do it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's Moon Knight.
Yeah, he went that. I mean, why would he be wondering whether he should follow up or not? And even it's really weird towards the end. He's even showing doubts where he says to Echo, "Oh, we can just call the whole thing off and let's just run away together." That sort of thing as well. I don't know.
Not very Moon Knight thing to do.
I don't know whether Bendis is trying to make him feel, or trying to portray him as being very flighty, like not really knowing what to doing one thing, being very kind of spontaneous. I don't know. But it's not really the Moon Knight. I mean, I would think that had been portrayed in the past. He's certainly a flawed character, but he's always had a direction. Like, you know. Yeah, anyway. I don't know, so any other kind of themes, underlying tones of this? Echo and Marc's relationship, that seems to be having another go.
Yeah, let's see. With Echo and her relationship with Marc in like the last couple issues, it seemed very on again, off again, but more so based off of Marc being an idiot.
Yeah.
He just doesn't know how to read a room.
Yeah, for sure. And she seems a lot more accommodating towards him now as well. Like, remember, she punched the hell out of him the first time he tried to kiss her. So, maybe she's admitting to herself as well, because she does say, and I put this down, characterization. She does say that she's never felt at home with the Avengers. So maybe she finds she's more at home with Marc Spector, which is a bit of a scary thing to say. Like, you know, she must have her problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they both are kind of exiles from the Avengers, so it kind of makes sense that they'd have the same type of, what's the right term? That's a really loud cat.
Yeah. He's knocking outside the door. He's could be Khonshu. Who knows? Cats are very, you know, Egyptian-based, aren't they?
Yeah. Anyway, let's see. Echo. What was I saying?
Yeah, there was a term that you wanted. They're both very something. You're about to term them a particular. Like, they're both exiles.
Anyway.
Exiles from Avengers. Yeah, flighty. I don't know. They're both. Yeah. Anyway, also as well, I mean. Oh, actually, let's talk about the. It's very brief again. I'm going to go back to the. There's the thing with the voices, and it's novel for me. It's a little fun. This thing about looking at the film footage of Khonshu versus the werewolf. Now, so again, for those that are unaware, Marc Spector, not Stephen Grant. Again, I will stress that, which is strange. Anyway, Marc Spector has started up a film company or production of sorts, and they have a TV series. I can't remember the name of the TV series. It's something like The Shadows of Khonshu or something. But anyway, they're looking at episode 4, and there's a nice little action scene here with Jake Lockley, who's piloting a helicopter, and Marlene, and there's a werewolf jumps up. So I was going to jump and say a reference to the other runs, because obviously any loonies would know. So Marc mentions, you know, I need a werewolf in there, and Amy, his production assistant, says, well, I thought this was going to be about your life as a soldier of fortune. And he says it is. And she goes, why, a werewolf? And he goes, that happened. So obviously anyone would know that references Werewolf by Night 32 and 33. So that's a reference to basically the first appearance of Moon Knight. So well done there on Bendis's behalf to cite that. But yeah, what did you think of this this scene with Marc and Amy, and then subsequently with the alters, Cap, Wolvie, and Spidey?
With the production assistant, I liked that he wasn't keen on how fake the werewolf looked. He's like, no, why am I throwing this much money at it and it still looks like crap?
Yeah.
It's like, he remembers that scene pretty intense.
Yeah. But
So,
at the same,
it makes sense.
yeah. But I mean, at the same time as well, the poor lass as well, Amy. She goes, "But you approved the." He goes, "Amy," and she goes, "You approved it." So he must, he sounds like you. At the same time, your typical boss, but also like the worst sort of boss. The boss that says one thing one day and then the other day is totally forgotten and says something the other direction. But yeah, I like Amy too. I think she's good. She kind of, if anything, shows the, incompetence of Marc in the fact that, like, he's going, oh, look, or calls him out. He goes, look, I've got a meeting. And she goes, what do you mean? Like, I schedule all your meetings. But he's talking about his meetings with his alters because he sees Spidey, Wolvie, and Captain America. But Chad, what did you think about, again, how about the voicings of Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Captain America? What did you think of them?
I thought they were pretty accurate to those characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the only hitch in it was really Spider-Man, because he kind of wanted to run off and have fun. He didn't want to stand up and take responsibility where he has the power,
That's true. Yeah. I think, because the way I see them, they're very much distilled into these very base kind of, personalities for Marc. And we've talked about this before, about how they could easily be translated to Jake, Steve, and Marc, so why not have used them? But it's a lot more apparent with the likes of, say, Captain America, taking the very sensible, he's a voice of, really the huge voice of reason. And Wolverine, of course, is more of the, action first, think about it later. He's very much that kind of character, and his voices, I thought, come across that. Yeah, Spider-Man, you're right. But he seems very much kind of like the middle ground, and I think out of the three, I think Spider-Man's the least kind of, I don't know, convincing. I think he's the mediator, if anything, out of these three voices. So I think the main players here are Wolverine and Cap, because they're just both extremes. But yeah, I thought they were done well, considering, and for me, in my head canon, of course, they're just identities, but they're not the real thing. These are figments, again, of Marc's imagination. This is what he thinks that they would say. I thought that was pretty decent at that. Okay. Any other, characterizations? What do you think of any other thoughts on Detective Hall or Captain Williams? They are the main players here.
Detective Hall is no Flint, but can't be in every jurisdiction.
No, true. I did think about that first when at that first scene, but of course he's in LA and Flint is in New York somewhere. Although Hall does say that.
I thought Flint was Chicago.
Oh yeah. He started off in Chicago, didn't he? But then didn't was it? Is it Brooklyn? Oh, the Bronx. Moon Knight starts hanging around the Bronx. That's New York, isn't it?
Yeah, that's one of the boroughs.
Yeah. But you're right. I can't remember the one with Morpheus. Wherever the one that was the first appearance, I think, of Detective Flint. Issue, I'm gonna say 4. No, I don't know. I'm just stretching. Hang on.
Ray is on the case.
Okay, just gonna pull it out here, and the comic book. Yeah,
thanks.
Nah, it's not 5. It would be one of the first 4. I'm sure it would have been one of the first 4.
Well, it's a very...
No, it isn't. No, got it wrong. It's, sorry, bear with us, loonies. I'll be with you in a tick. Guess through what? Angels, Vengeance. Oh, 12. 12. But I'm sure Flint turns up before then. But issue 12 was Morpheus, you know, that issue with the first page, basically, of Doug Mensch as Robert Markham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I remember Flint had a really cool... Yep, sorry?
I was just going to say that really, like, in-depth metamorphosis, like, few pages.
Yes.
And I really hope they turn that into a, like, on-screen event.
That would be cool. That would be good. I'd love to see, Morpheus on screen.
The Ebon energy.
But, like, even just his gangly, horrid, like, his visage, you know, the bug eyes. I just can imagine him, like, sweating and just being kind of sickly looking. I don't know why, but I don't know why he'd potentially be sweating. But the Ebon energy, just really, like a real monster, which is terrible to say because he got that afflicted on him.
It makes me think of The Fly.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, horrible, disfigured. Anyway, so I don't know. Any other points here, Chad, to point out for this issue?
No. Not that I can think of.
Yeah, look, I haven't got too much as well. We'll do a quick wrap up in our scores. The only other thing is I'll put in here reference to other runs. Again, they kept on talking about how Nefaria was big level, A grade. He's battled Thor and the Avengers. I was doing a quick background check. I wanted to find out that issue where he does fight Thor. I couldn't find it, but he is in countless Avengers runs, Tales to Astonish, that sort of stuff. Even these are other offshoot Avenger titles as well, like Avengers, I think, Most Wanted and New Avengers. He's in all that. So he's in a few battles in volumes 1 and 3 of the flagship Avengers run. So he's a lot. He's fought a lot of the X-Men as well. And he does have, like, class 100 plus strength. So on the chart, he's like...
Jesus.
So he can fight the likes of the Hulk and Thor easily. So he's that strong. I don't know about his energy stuff and flight and all that, but he's apparently very strong. I think he's based on ionic energy. I'm not too sure because he's had a lot of dealings with Wonder Man. And, you know, Wonder Man's quite strong as well. So that could be something there. But yeah, so interesting. So he's battled the Avengers countless times. I might pepper in a few runs in our show notes for you loonies, if you want to check it out. I'm certainly keen to because, not to say because of this particular story, but just that Bendis has used him. I think he'd be kind of worth checking out, Count Nefaria. So anyway, I guess that will pretty much wrap up our thoughts on this issue. Chad, can I ask you to go first? Do you want to go first? I mean, I've already put my mark in here, but what would you give this issue 8 of Volume 6, Moon Knight by Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev?
I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
A big, beautiful yellow man.
Lovely. A big, beautiful yellow man. Nothing like it. There you go. 8 out of 10. Very cool. I gave it a solid 7 out of 10. I think it's, so that I picked Connors as well, a solid round boy. I think it really did enjoy. It surprised me just because, I don't know, we're all geared up to be disappointed by Bendis's run, you know, and there's been a lot of flack on it. And some of the issues have been flat, which you've seen in our discussions, but this one was surprising. Yeah. This one was surprisingly, you know, it was fine. I liked it. It had a lot of meat to it. There were a lot of things in motion. There were a lot of wheels in motion, right? You know, without it being, because the previous criticisms of some of Bendis' issues is that there's a lot of talk and nothing really much happens. Whereas here, we actually at least get a setup to a lot of things happening. So we get we get a nice interrogation of Snapdragon. We get interaction between Captain Williams, again, and Detective Hall. Everything that I've kind of said before. We get this Marc Spector echo. We get the fight. So, yeah, a 7 out of 10, I think, is a pretty decent call for it. So, we haven't got any feedback, Chad, because I hadn't really posted this up. But again, I might post up something soon. So before this issue comes out, I'll drop it out on our social media platforms. Let us know what you think of this issue 8. And it'll be really cool to know. I know a lot of people don't like the Bendis run, and that's fair and totally understand. Totally respect that as well. Let us know what you think of this particular issue. And if you didn't like this issue, tell us why. Like, did you not find it exciting enough? Was there an amazing ignorance of Moon Knight's character or canon as a whole? What really kind of ground your gears if you didn't like it? But if you did like it, yeah, exactly. Why did you like it? I mean, the same reasons that Chad and I voiced on this would be very interesting to know. Anyway, there, loonies, there you go. This issue 8. For Spectacle, there's only one thing before I'll throw it to Chad to where any loonies would be keen to catch you or find you, Chad. Just a thing, I know it's just dropped now. I'll be appearing on a Signal of Doom episode with Dave Finn. We're chatting all about the Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection. One moment. It's volume 17. It's called Kraven's Last Hunt, and it goes through, obviously, Kraven's Last Hunt.
That's good.
It's very good. It's very good. I love it. I mentioned to Dave, every time I read it, actually, I think I love it more, and that's really not often that happens to a lot of things. So I really enjoyed every time I read it. But anyway, this epic includes, and Dave and I cover it, includes the Spider-Man, the Peter Parker Mary Jane wedding, the annual, which is a cracker of an annual. I love it. There's also that big reveal of Hobgoblin. So there was a lot of stuff happening behind behind the curtain there in the Marvel office about Hobgoblin. Dave gets into that. It's very interesting to listen to. There's Spider Slayers there with Alistair Smythe. What else is there? There's just a whole heap of stuff. It's a really cool, fun chat I have with Dave, so go check it out on Signal of Doom. That should be available now, easily, so check it out. Chad, is there anywhere that loonies can find you to agree with all your points or to chat further about your points that you've discussed on today's show?
Let's see. On Facebook, you can find me as just Chad Jernigan in the group. Part of several other groups. Let's see. And then on Twitter, you can find me as Angled Time. And that's angled, not angeled, please.
Yeah, excellent. No, cool. Go check out. Again, we'll have it in the show notes. Say hi to Chad. He's good as well. You pop in the Discord as well. It's not really active. We don't really have an active Discord. But I'm trying to change that, Chad. I'm trying to learn about bots, and trying to kind of streamline the server. Check all that out. Say hello to Chad. Let me just stop the sharing screen because we're finished now. For our fair patronies, they can catch us back. Yes, there you go. So, a huge thank you, Chad, for joining. Always fun. We'll have to tee up our Let's Get Sheet-Faced cocktail hour. We're going to be doing some video bonuses there. We just got to buy the liqueurs. We've got some cocktails to make, things to review, things to grade again. I think Khonshu's rating system will come in handy for that. We'll see how we go. But a huge thank you, Chad. It's always fun to chat with you.
Vice versa.
Cool. Next phase, loonies, we have on episode 170, returning is Noel Looney Tunes Tate yes, he comes back. Noel was in 168. He'll be returning, and we'll both be covering a segment, The Other Side of the Moon. So that's for a waxing gibbous, and that will be on Marvel Team Up 144. So that's Moon Knight and Spider-Man. And The Other Side of the Moon is a segment of Moon Knight featured in other comics that aren't necessarily kind of his own. So he makes an appearance here and there. Could be very minimal. We've done something similar, Chad. I think I've had it under a different kind of name, I think. I'm not sure if I've named it The Other Side of the Moon, but we've done ones like the Las Vegas one with the Joe Fixit and and the Hulk. So that sort of thing, where Moon Knight kind of guest appears. And yeah. But anyway, we'll be doing that next week with Noel. That should be fun. As mentioned at the top of the show, a huge thank you to our patroonies. You too can become a patroonie if you please consider our ITK Patreon page at patreon.com/ITK Moon Knight. Plenty of bonuses and incentives there. I've finally released the digest, the monthly digest. And actually a shout out to patroonie Justin. I'm going to call him Justin the Owl. He's Justin the Owl Osgood. He's put up his hand, Chad. So very exciting. We'll be having Justin on the show to help co-review a classic run, I think, down the track. So that's in a few weeks. So very excited. I think in November. So yeah, you two loonies can become a Patreon member. Just go check out the incentives, and it helps expand the show. As mentioned, Hello Headphones. If you use the code ITK Moon Knight, you'll get 10% off their online store. Get yourself some earphones or headphones. Or if you go to Dreamland Comics, the superhero superstore, use the code MOON and you'll get 20% off their store. So all your back issue needs are there. We're affiliate members of Entertainment Earth. Any toy action figures, please use the links in the show notes, and that will help support the show too. Also, we are part of the Collective. Really cool bunch of shows. I've got to give them a big shout out. I'll shout out the TV podcast Industries. Awesome guys there, Derek, John, and Chris. There's also a Nexus of All Realities. That's by Paul Matthew Carr. Fantastic show as well. Hopefully that comes back soon. There's been a bit on and off. And We Are Venomaniacs, a Venom podcast by Orion and his co-hosts. Great fun. Finally, you can contact us on email at itkmoonnight@gmail.com. Also, as we've mentioned and referenced, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. Get vocal. Well, when Get Vocal bloody works. We've got a website as well, and as mentioned, the Patreon page. Also, finally, if you want, please give us a rating on either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser. That will just help us expose the show to more potential loonies and more Moon Knight fans. So, thank you very much. Once again, Chad, a huge thank you. What's happening for you in the next few hours? You are it's a weird hour there, I know. I'm not even going to say, but of course, I know it's situation normal for you, but
4:23 in the morning.
My God. Whoa. So what are you going to do? Go out for a jog?
Probably another cider. Maybe
Yeah.
watch a little bit more of The Boys.
Lovely. What are you up to in that?
Let's see, about 2 weeks ago, I finished up to what they had then, and they recently had a thing where they were releasing more episodes on a weekly basis, so...
Okay. Right, yeah. I'm only up to episode 4. I know it's I'm loving it. I'm loving The Boys. It's great. Really cool. Awesome. 420, Chad, if you play a musical instrument, just turn up the amp, get the old electric guitar, 4:23 in the morning. See what the neighbors think, eh?
I can already say that that's not going to go very well.
I know, but in anything that you do, Chad, I hope you have a good day. All the best.
You too.
Cool. And as always, loonies, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information, or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.